What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I thought that it would be fun to give you guys a super raw and honest home walkthrough. All right, somebody requested this in the comment section of one of the other videos, and I was like, you know what, screw it. I already talk about so many deeply personal things to you guys on YouTube. If you guys enjoy me talking about my life, maybe you'll enjoy seeing what the ins and outs of it look like and kind of seeing how I have everything set up in my life in order to perform, to be able to build my businesses the best that I possibly can, and be able to make a lot of money doing what I love. You know, as a content creator, as a fitness coach, as a business owner who's made over $1 million in 2025 so far at only 24 years old, maybe you guys can take some tips away from this, apply it to your own life. And the main thing that I really want to get across in this video is that you guys don't have to live somewhere extremely flashy. You know, on social media today, it seems like everybody's trying to get the nicest house with the nicest pool, and everybody's obsessed with just constantly trying to get better and better things. I have cultivated my environment to maximize my productivity, but also make sure that I'm able to put a lot of what I make away so that I can have a family in the future. So I try to be very, very responsible with my money. And part of that involves splitting a house with two other guys. So this house that I live in, you can see right behind me, it's a 3-bedroom house. And there's 3 total people that live here, including me. I've got 2 other roommates who are Christian men. One of them is my videographer who actually helps me film some of my videos. And you can see that this right here is actually the view. In the front yard, we've got some farm equipment off to the right, and there is just this trailer that is super old, and it's absolutely filled to the brim with garbage. It's a little bit of an eyesore. So you may wonder, well, Brandon, if you make so much money, like, why aren't you living in a Miami penthouse? And the truth is, I just think that when you decide to go down that route and try to get the nicer house constantly, trying to flex to your peers, I think you get caught in a rat race. You know, just like the 9-to-5 is a rat race, I think that getting caught up in chasing status too much can also be a rat race, and it can destroy your productivity. It can allow vices to creep into your life. My life, the way that I have it set up, is based around trying to get as much work done as possible and staying on the straight and narrow. It's why I still live out here in Montana, you know, in the city that I was raised in, is because it has allowed me to sort of separate myself from the rest of the world, and I'm not tempted to go out and do all of these other things that are degenerate, time-wasting, money-wasting things. And living here in Montana, it has its ups and its downs. I make a lot of videos out here in the sun. You've probably seen me out here talking. I try to get as much of the sun as I possibly can. It's one of the reasons why I quit my 9-to-5 job in the first place, is because I was sick of working under fluorescent lighting in a warehouse all day. You know, going to work before the sun even came up and then leaving the building after the sun had already gone down. I really, really hated it. So I started my fitness coaching business. I started posting on social media in order to try to become financially free and give myself the ability to work out in nature and appreciate the sun when it is out. But like I said, Montana has its ups and downs, and it was mid-80s last week. And then just yesterday, it was 30 degrees and it was snowing, which is absolutely crazy that we're getting snowed on early in October, but that's how it goes sometimes. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a tour, a little bit of a walkthrough. It's just gonna be super, super raw, giving you guys my thoughts on everything and why I have it all set up this way. But we're gonna go ahead and start off with the garage. The TRX does not actually fit inside of the garage. Inside of the garage, we do have the Hellcat. You can see right there, I actually got some new plates on the Hellcat. That one says Red Eye, and then I also got a new plate for the TRX. It says Dyno Horsepower. So I was pretty excited about that. A man and his toys. And this right here is Mi Casa. As you can see, we've got a cold plunge outside. My roommate's been using that a lot recently. It's gotten exponentially more painful now that it's getting a lot colder. But we've got a fire pit, and we usually have men's Bible studies out here. We'll start a fire when it's nice out, obviously, and not downpouring rain. We've got a grill that we cook on sometimes. We've got a shed for a bunch of storage. Now, getting into a tour of the actual house itself, when you first walk in, we've got a nice open mud room. So as you can see, we've got all of our shoes here. This is a really nice spot during the winter when it gets really cold to just be able to come in, take your shoes off before entering the actual house. But when you come in, there's a sliding glass door which leads into a room that we have actually converted into a full home studio. So as you can see, we've got a bunch of things set up to be filmed here. We've got the camera over here. We've got some lighting. And like I said, one of my roommates, he is a videographer. So he uses this area. I use it as well. We've got a nice couch. We've also got a pool table. I am a big time pool player. I absolutely love it. So we have all of the windows blocked off in order to keep light from coming into the room so that we can actually utilize the studio to its fullest extent. But as you can see, very, very set up for me being able to work to my fullest capacity, create the highest quality content that I possibly can. And then entering the actual house itself, we've got kind of a laundry room area for storage. We've got the washer, we've got the dryer, we've got a sink, and this leads straight into the kitchen. And the kitchen's pretty nice. I know the outside of the house is a little bit rough, but the inside is nice. It's all remodeled, really gets the job done. We've got the fridge full of healthy food. The reason why I harp on that time and time and again is because I'm constantly running into people who are overweight, and they say that they're overweight because of the people that they live with. You know, whether it's people still living with their parents or people living with their wives that go out and buy food that's extremely tempting. It's very important to be able to control your environment. You know, you don't want to have a ton of garbage in the fridge. That way you're not tempted to go eat something that you shouldn't. You don't want to have a ton of garbage in the pantry so that when you get a craving, you're not actually able to satisfy that craving immediately. You'd have to get in your car, you'd have to go all the way to the store, you'd have to buy something. It's very important to keep those types of temptations at a distance and make it really easy to eat the good whole foods. And then moving forward, as we exit out of the kitchen, we enter the living room, a nice big open space. We've got the dinner table here. We've got 2 couches. And one of the reasons why I love this house is just because of the massive windows. It allows me to be able to look outside while I am working inside. I'm usually sitting right here doing my work, also filming YouTube videos right here. You guys probably recognize that setup right there. But I really just like how it's roomy, it's spacious, and I actually walk around the entire room. I do circuits. While I'm working on my phone, I come back to my computer, I do some work, and then I'll do more laps, and I just walk around and around and around. And that allows me to get 15 to 20,000 steps every single day. It's one of the ways that I stay lean, is constantly moving while I'm working. And guys will constantly come to me with back pain, like struggling. They're like, Brandon, my back hurts so bad. And I ask them, like, what did you do to hurt your back? And they didn't hurt it working. they didn't hurt it doing something that was extremely arduous. They actually often hurt their backs because they're sitting all day. They're sitting in a chair, they're sitting in a car, depending on what their work is. They're just sitting around all day and their hips are getting so tight. And basically what it's doing is it's taking all of the pressure that's supposed to go on your glutes on a daily basis. Your glutes are a massive, strong muscle. And instead, all of that pressure is going to the lower back because the hips are so tight and you're remaining seated all day. You need to move your body. You need to move around. I used to have so much pain in my lower back, I actually ended up herniating a disc a couple of years ago because I was sitting all day. And then I would go to the gym and I would try to lift and my hips were so tight, my glutes wouldn't activate and my lower back is what would give out. So it's something very, very important to keep in mind is you want to constantly always be moving. We've got the wood stove right here, which we will fire up every once in a while during the winter. I've got my calendar right here where I take notes every single day. I keep track of my body weight to make sure that I'm not putting on too much weight. I want to put on weight at the right rate. I'm currently lean bulking. I'm trying to gain some mass. So I'm making sure that I'm only gaining like 2 pounds per month is the ideal amount of weight that I want to gain right now. I also have this calendar where I keep track of my lifetime in weeks. As you can see, it's actually going to be my 25th birthday here in the next week. And in this calendar, I also mark down a G and a B on every single day. You might see those letters there at the top of the days. And pretty much what that represents is it represents a good day versus a bad day. And this was one of the most important practices that I've started doing that I really recommend that other people start doing as well. Because at the end of every single day, I like to take note of whether it was overall a net positive day or an overall net negative day. Because I am somebody who has struggled with depression in the past. I struggle with the ups and downs inside of my mind. And when you struggle with that on the bad days, sometimes those bad days can feel so overwhelming. It can feel so difficult, like my life has never been worse. Every single day has been such a struggle. When in reality, you've actually had other good days even that week. And it's totally normal to have a couple bad days every single week. But when you're prone towards like this depression and these spiraling thoughts of negativity, like I am and like I have struggled with in the past, when you get those bad days, you tend to spiral. And so it's really nice to be able to look back and say, hey, I've only had 3 bad days this week. That's not bad at all. Let's keep on chugging. Let's keep on working. And like I'm bound to hit a good day in the next couple days because I can see through my calendar that there's only a couple of bad days every single week. So that's something that I try to keep close track of every single day. Now, like I said, I do rent out this place with 2 other roommates. And so I end up only having to pay $800 per month in rent. And a lot of people will say, oh, Brandon, you make so much money. Why don't you just buy a house? The truth is, I don't want to buy a house because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with taking care of your own appliances. For example, if the fridge were to break down, if the hot water heater were to blow up, which it has before, that would be something that I would personally have to deal with. And I don't want to have to deal with that. Being a younger guy, I want my life to be set up to focus as much on my businesses as possible. And if I'm constantly running around because something's going wrong with the house, something needs to be done, it takes away from my ability to do my work and do what I do best. And so I'm going to make sure that most of my time is spent with my most leveraged activity, which is my work, pouring into my business, making content. And so that's why I have decided not to buy a house. In the future, if I ever have a family, like if I ever have kids, yeah, I will probably end up buying a house. But for now, paying $800 per month in rent is awesome. Like I said, I get to put most of my money away and save that for the future. I get to put it into the S&P 500, into low risk index funds that are going to start yielding me compounding interest. And in the future, I will be very, very well set up, which is Awesome. So as we move into the tour of the rest of the house, you'll see that there's a long hallway, and in here we've got one of the bathrooms. Pretty simple bathroom, shower, and then we've got one of my roommate's rooms. We've got another one of my roommate's rooms, and then we've got my room. Now my room is a pretty good setup. I've got my bodybuilding trophies in here. I've got an In Christ Alone whole strength flag on the wall. If you've seen the tattoo on my chest, you can probably guess that my favorite animal is a tiger. You can tell by looking around at the pictures on the wall. My bed, I will be 100% honest with you guys. I like to tell everybody that I'm put together, you know, and that you should have good routines and good habits. I've never made my bed consistently, ever. Being 100% raw, open, and honest with you guys. It's not something that I do. I just wake up, I go straight to the bathroom, I do my hair, I wash my face, I get ready for the day, and I start work. I don't even do my bed. So you don't need to make your bed every single morning if you need to be a successful person or if you want to be a successful person. But I do understand why some people, if they struggle with habits, should really try to focus on making their bed every single morning. I've got a full-length mirror here. I've got shelves with Chris Bumstead on it, as you can see right there. He's keeping me inspired every time I look around. I've got a closet full of Young LA. I probably wear 5% of the clothes that I actually have in my closet. I've got Lego Star Wars on there. You know, I used to have a lot of Lego Star Wars stuff when I was a kid, and I just brought it over to my house. And as you can see, everything's just kind of set up to where I used to work in here kind of as a home office. I actually have like a standing desk platform up here. But as of recently, in order to try to keep from being cooped up, I do work in the living room most of the time. And then there is my bathroom. Very simple, very small. I honestly barely fit between these two, through these doors. Like if I just stand naturally, I have to go into the bathroom sideways because it's pretty tiny. But I've got my shower. I've got my bathroom. Very, very simple setup, as you can see. And then we're right back into the entryway laundry room. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that it encourages some of you guys out there to not feel like you need to live somewhere super, super fancy in order to make a lot of money. Don't feel like you need to buy a house, like you need to do some of the things that a lot of people encourage you to do in today's culture. Really, really focus on setting up your environment to maximize the things that you really want to prioritize. Your environment is the most powerful factor that you have control over to change how you operate, how hard you work, the things that you do. I cannot emphasize enough just how much moving out of my parents' house, you know, moving in with people that were genuinely focused on what they're doing, like hardworking people, you know, that were Christians, that weren't doing all of these degenerate activities, that weren't constantly falling into vice. I can't tell you just how much doing that changed my life for the better. So I want to really encourage you, go out and create that environment for yourself to better your life and help you continue to head in the direction that you believe you were meant to be headed in. You know, God created you for a specific purpose, and you can control what the life around you looks like by trying to optimize your surroundings and by really taking advantage of the freedom that you have. So make sure to drop a like down below, drop a singular thumbs up in the comment section if you watched all the way through to the end of this video, because if you did, you got an attention span of steel, my friend, and I'm gonna give you props for that. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.